All right. We are live, and
Oh, everyone.
we're live in the right group this time. There might have been a wrong group at first, but we're good to go now. Hello, everyone.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, week 6
Yeah.
went by so fast, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but it was great.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys learned something. We want to know all of it, all of the feedback. Too much, too little, too much at one time, whatever you guys have to offer. We kind of want to know that. Yeah. Okay. So we are gonna go. I didn't know if you had anything to add.
So I was going to. The reason why we're laughing is because we've already spoken all of this to the wrong group. But I have to comment again on how much I love your shirt.
Okay, good.
But yes, it did go by fast, and we're just excited to hear what everyone thought. And we also really want to honor that this is a weird time for everyone. So if you were going through the content and are still behind, or just need some time with that we get it. We obviously had this planned before the pandemic hit and we were all stuck at home. So please just keep us posted, ask us questions after the fact, and maybe just let us know if you're still working through some of the content so we can
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because if we're still available, even if you haven't gone through all the content, we're still available for questions. This Facebook group is going to be here. You have our contact information, so just reach out, even if you're only on week 3 right now. Yeah. So one of the things we talked about is, given that there is so much information that we did give you guys, and we wanted to purposefully give you a lot of things that you could put have with you to tools and exercises and all of that stuff. But we 100% understand that to do all of these exercises every single day for the rest of your life, starting right now, isn't really realistic. And so we wanted to kind of help you guys figure out, how do you start to incorporate some of this into your life so it becomes a habit and not something that you have to do. How do you create this it's naturally something that's part of your life. It's not overwhelming. And so we wanted to give you some guidance on that. We created a little worksheet for you that you're going to get one more email from us. It's going to have some bonus content in it. And it's also going to have this worksheet. So we, Missy and I have shared a little bit about our stories as we've kind of gone through this, but, we know what it's like to feel super overwhelmed when you're trying to really create some good habits in your life and stick with them. And so we don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed. We know that can happen, but this is hopefully going to guide you through some of this. There's lots of different ways you can incorporate habits into your life. And so if you have a way that is just working for you and you want to continue on that route, go for it. If you need some extra help, though, here's just a really simple way that you can go about this. So we want you to think back to when you started the program and write down what your original goals were. So no, I'm going to go through these steps and then Missy's going to take you through an example. Okay, so you'll get to kind of apply a little bit of this. So you're going to write down your original goals, why you started the program, and then you're going to write down 5 things from the program that stuck out to you, or maybe it was an exercise that you were like, holy moly, that one I really need to work hard on. I'm not really getting it. So you're going to pick 5 things from the program that you want to start with immediately. They could be your favorite things, whatever you feel just spoke to you. And then you're going to start to brainstorm ways that you can introduce this into your daily life. So when we say this, it's are there certain times of the day that work better for you? Are there certain times of the week, do you work out 3 days a week where you know that maybe some of the exercises could be incorporated as a warm-up? And then so what you're going to do, so you'll pick number 1 on that list of 5 things, and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to start with this one. And so then you're going to brainstorm ways that one item could be put into your life. After you've implemented that, just one thing, so you're focusing on one thing at a time. After you've done that, for however long it takes. So here's an important thing to note is sometimes if you're trying to work in a warm-up routine with your exercise, maybe it takes you 2 to 3 weeks before that exercise or those couple of exercises really becomes like part of your warm up, and you do them every time. You don't forget. They become just part of you when you go work out. Then you move on to the next one. It might only take you a week for you to feel like, okay, that was really simple. I could add in, if you just added in one exercise for a warm up, you add in another one. Or maybe you're focusing on an affirmation, that you want to add in more right away. The time frame isn't specific because each step is going to be different for each person. But then you just move down the list. So once you have implemented number 1, and you feel good, then you go and you repeat the steps for number 2. So you brainstorm ways to your life, and then you add that and you try it out. And sometimes it's trial and error. Sometimes you might say like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to do it in the morning every day because that's when I kind of have my quiet time. And you realize that you actually like doing it better at night. Totally fine to reevaluate as you go and change things up as needed. Okay. So then Missy, is going to take you through the example that we made.
So you guys will have lines here where you can write all that down. So here's just an example to go over incorporating this into the program that we took you through. So if you came in and your goals were to have sex without pain, having a bowel movement every day, and then no pain with squatting. So let's say these are your goals that these are just things that you really want to improve on. So during the 6-week program, you really found these 5 things to be, like Ashley said, something that really felt good in your body, something that you really struggled with and you want to improve. So we've got the hip circle exercise, the deep squat sit, the small intestine affirmation, 360-degree breathing in V-sit, and then removing a toxin like soda from your diet. So what Ashley was saying is we're going to take one of those because it's really important to, when we're trying to create that habit, pick one thing. So we're going to pick that first, number 1, that circle exercise. And the brainstorming for number 1 is to maybe perform it before each workout as a warm-up, maybe in the morning before work, maybe at night before bed. And you can kind of mix that up too. Let's say you're not working out every day, but you want to do the movement every day. But trying to ideally figure out that time frame where you can incorporate number 1, and then you can kind of check that off. And it doesn't mean you stop doing it. It just means like, okay, I'm ready for something else. I'm ready to start incorporating something else. So this is just kind of a system that we have found helpful, and hopefully that example helps kind of visualize that. And then just a couple other things we wanted to make sure you guys focused on was after you've done the 5 items, then you can kind of reevaluate your goals, because hopefully you're starting to check off some of this, like pain with sex, better bowel movements, that kind of stuff. So you can update those goals and keep going through all of the stuff, because you're going to have all of the content. And what we're actually going to do too is we're going to be sending you, once we kind of update the program and make beautiful videos, you'll have access to all of that as well too. So then you can kind of dabble in there. And then this last bullet point is just, if you have time, a list of things to pick and choose. And it's, it could be, again, maybe it's something that you pick that you do in a moment of stress. So some of the affirmations aren't necessarily, unless you're really working through something, you can have an affirmation that you just do as needed. So that's kind of like an if I have time kind of thing. It's the training that I do for like goal setting. It's called the parking lot. So you have a parking lot of things to work on. And then what you can do is, when you're reevaluating your goals, focusing on another set of 5 things, you'll have that list of if I have time to kind of focus on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else with the form?
I don't think so. You'll get it in the email, like I said, so you can let some people, I mean, you know, some people already have a really good system in place, and we don't want to like say that you have to use this, but if you have nothing, this is just, it's one of the most simple ways out there just to add one thing. And so like Missy, she mentioned like removing soda, like removing a toxin. So it doesn't necessarily, it's not always necessarily adding something extra in, it's what can I take out? So what can I avoid? And maybe one of the things that you really put on there is you've realized that like through all of this, you really need a support person. And maybe it's just focusing on like connecting with that support person and giving yourself 10 minutes a week or 10 minutes every other week to really talk to them about how you're doing. If that's helpful for you, to be specific only to I'm adding in exercises or I'm adding in this thing. Sometimes we just need to like remove things from what we're doing.
Yep, that's a good point. So you guys are getting follow-up email or an email on Monday again. This handout and some extra bonuses. Do we want to talk about the bonuses a little bit?
We can.
Okay.
I feel like I feel like we should have like confetti.
Or a cocktail.
Yeah, or that.
Dang it.
Yeah.
All I have is vodka, and that's to make hand sanitizers. Even though technically it doesn't help. Anyways, that's a rabbit hole. So one of the bonuses that we're gonna add in is a kind of like a toxin resource, and it's going to help provide you with ingredients to look out for, a list of the things that we like to use. It doesn't mean it's the only thing, but just things to kind of get your wheels turning on what you can maybe replace, and have that be maybe one of your 5 things that you work on is replacing your deodorant, something like that. So you're going to get that.
And then you're going to get, I'm going to record another beautiful video. But I'm going to go through the exercises that I see most commonly performed with pretty bad form with respect to keeping deep lower core and pelvic floor safe. So yeah, I'm going to record, I think I have like 6 or 7 on my list that I'm going to record, give you options for like, this is what typically is done. So I'm going to do them wrong to try to show you what my body looks like compared to like doing it wrong and then doing it with form that is protective. And then you can, again, that you'll have forever, so you can go back and look at it. And it's the ones that I see most commonly performed with pretty scary things happen during them. So yeah, so you'll have that. And then you can implement that as well into, so whatever fitness practice you do, they're common across all fitness realms. So you should be able to implement that immediately into your exercise.
Yeah. We basically made a list because Ashley and I have patients coming in all the time with a pain or a dysfunction of some sort, and they show us what they're doing in their workout classes. And these are just, and even us personally, like I go to Core Power Yoga and I modified most of the core exercises because of what I've learned and how it makes my body feel. So I have found, and Ashley can chime in too, but it's just giving that, there's almost a little bit of fear around doing something different than the class or the instructor or something like that. And I would say Ashley and I are a little bit jaded because we're probably like, we don't care what they think. But we want to get you to the point where you're a little bit just more comfortable and confident in still doing a similar exercise so you don't feel like you're standing out as much, but taking care of your body. And the reality is if you do all of this awesome work and then go back to some of those movement dysfunctions, it's going to be a step back every time, because you're telling your brain like, hey, it's okay to do this sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of want to build those.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree. When I first started like doing my own thing during the core section of class, I was super like scared like in the beginning because they would come over and they would be like, well, what's going on? You know, and they don't need to know like what they don't really need to know anything that you don't want to tell them. But all I say now is that I'm just working at my own pace. And I say I'm not ready for that exercise. So I'm going to do this instead. Most of the classes I go to now, they just know that I'm going to do my own thing. They ask me if I need anything. And it's not like to dog on any of the fitness instructors. But unfortunately that's the fitness industry in our country is there's not a whole lot of deeper anatomical education that comes into it. And so it's just helping you guys stay safe, really.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's coming in the email next week is a survey.
Oh yeah.
And the survey is to just as being a part of the beta to try to get your guys' feedback. So we'll try to make it super simple so that we'll kind of get your wheels turning as far as like versus just like we loved it, we hated it. Try to get a little bit more detail because we do want to, you know, make this awesome for all of you and everyone out there that wants this info. And yeah, so we're excited to hear what you guys thought.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, let me peek back over here one more time in the right group. All right, everyone. Hope you have a good rest of the week.
Yeah, have a good week, you guys.
All right.